Now I will break down these 10 beginner blues licks one at a time, talking about what notes, what scales, and what chord the lick is being played over. I'll leave a link in the description for this great backing track so you can practice these blues licks. These are 10 easy blues licks that you can really build on. Let's go. All right, lick number 1, using the A major pentatonic scale. So we're hammering on 2nd fret to 4th fret of the D string, 2 hits on the 2nd fret of the G string, 4 on the D, back to 2 on the G string, A note. And then a slight bend on 4 of the G string, release, hitting 4, hammering on and pulling off 2 to 4 on the G string. 4 on the D, back to A. Slow. Lick number 2 in the A minor pentatonic. Now this is over the D major chord. So 7th fret of the D string is an A note, hitting G and B strings on the 7th fret, back to that 7th fret of the D, then 2 hits on the G and B strings in the 5th fret, 2 hits. Slight bend before you go back to that home bass note, that root note, 7th fret of the D string. Then it's going back to the A major chord, and we use a little extension of this minor pentatonic here. So sliding up to 9 on the G string, hitting 8 on the B, doing that twice. And then 7 to 5 on the G, 7-5 on the D string, and then finish it off on that home bass note, 7th fret of the D string. Lick number 4, going to the E chord. Looking at a piece of a major pentatonic here, so 5-7 on the E string, slight bend on 7 of the B string, release and striking 7, and then hitting 5 on the B string. Lick number 5, it's quickly going to the D major chord. Still using a piece of the major sound here and then resolving to the A minor pentatonic. So 5-7 on the B string, then 2 hits on 5 of the G string. A slight bend before you resolve back to that home bass note, 7 of the D string. So lick number 6 has a couple parts, using the major sound here to start with. Second part. Starts out the same, but you end it differently. So sliding from 5 to 6 on the G string, striking 5 to 7 on the B string, 5th fret of the E string, and then this is an A note here, then you go up to another A note, 10th fret of the B string. Second part starts out the same, just sliding to the 8th fret of the B string. That's the only difference. All right, lick number 7 is going to be headed to the D major chord, hitting 5 on the B string, hitting 9 on the E string, then back to 5 on the B, 8 on the E string. Last part. 5, 8 on the E, and then landing on this 7th fret of the B string, which is an F sharp note within the D chord. So it's kind of headed to the D chord before we start into the next chord. So now lick number 8 headed back to the A major chord. A minor pentatonic all the way. So this is upstroke here. It might be a challenge for some of you. So you're barring your first finger on the 5th fret of the E and B strings, and then put your 3rd finger here on the 8th fret of the B string, and then on the 7th fret of the G string you want to bend first. And then release. That might be a challenge too. You can just bend. And once you release, you're on the 7th fret of the G string. Finish it off with the 5th fret of the G string back to home base. 7th fret of the D string. So now as it heads into the E and the D chord, before we finish it off, just using some triad shapes. I don't want to complicate this, but the notes are simple. Play them over each chord. So we're just sliding on the D string, 5th fret to 6. Then hitting 5 on the E string, back to 6 on the D string, and then 7 on the G string. Might be a challenge, but a great sounding lick. You can really build on licks like this. Then 2 frets down is the same movement for the D chord. That was for E. You can hear the chord there. So for the D chord, we slide from 3 to 4 on the D string, hitting 3 on the B string here, back to 4, and then 5 on the G string. Slow. Lick number 10, headed back to the A chord. Double stop in the G and B strings on the 5th fret. Similar to something we did earlier there, but a little bend there. Back to that home bass note, 7th fret of the D string, and then down the A minor pentatonic scale again like we did before. It just finishes off different. Because it's a turnaround there, you want to hit that E note, barring in the 5th fret of the B and E strings, but you do that upstroke on the E, B, 3rd finger on the 8th fret, pre-bend on the 7th fret of the G string, release, so you release into the 7th fret, you go to the 5th fret of the G, 7 on the D, finish it off with 7 on the A string, which is an E note there.